High dividend stocks sound amazing on paper. Who wouldn't want a 7 or 8% yield right now? But here's the truth. Chasing high dividend yields is one of the fastest ways to get burned as an investor. Instead, the real wealth builders are companies that raise their dividends every single year, even if they just start at 2 or 3%. Why? Because over time, those growing dividends can make your personal yield way higher than anything you would get from a flat yield stock. Today, I will break down why dividend stock growth companies beat high yield, the concept of your personal dividend yield, and how to build a portfolio that pays you more every single year for life. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why high dividend stocks are so tempting. A stock that pays 7 or 8% looks like free money. If you put 100,000 in, you're getting 7 to 8,000 per year right away. But here's the catch. Companies that pay high yield often can't grow much. Sometimes they're in declining industries, or they are paying out too much of their profit just to attract investors. And the scariest part, high dividends can be cut. One bad year and suddenly your 8% yield is gone. That's why focusing on yield today is dangerous. You're eating the fruit but not planting new trees. Now let's compare that to a dividend growth company. Think of companies like Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola or Microsoft. They might start with just 2%. But here's the difference. These companies raise their dividends every single year. Over 10, 20, 30 years, that small 2% yield compounds into something massive. Let's run an example. Stock A. High yield company, 5% dividends, but it never grows. You invest $10,000, that's $500 a year. 10 years later, still $500. Stock B. Dividend growth company, 2% yield today, but it grows the dividends by 8% per year. Year 1, $200. 10 years later, the annual dividend has doubled. You're earning over $400, and 20 years later, you're collecting more than a high yield stock ever paid. This is what we call our personal dividend yield, the yield you earn on your original investment. And it can skyrocket if you stick with growth companies. Take Coca-Cola as an example. Back in the 1980s, the dividend yield was only about 2 to 3%. Not impressive, but today investors who bought back then are earning double-digit yields on their original costs, just because the dividend kept growing year after year, decade after decade. That's the beauty of dividend growth. You don't just get income, you're getting growing income. Income that keeps pace with inflation and compounds over time. On the flip side, chasing high yield often leads into traps. Struggling companies, dividend cuts, stocks that don't grow in value. It's like buying a rental property in a dying town because it looked cheap. Sure, you get a big rent at first, but eventually the tenants leave and the house falls apart. So here's the smarter play. Focus on companies with a track record of raising dividends, dividend aristocrats and dividend kings. Look for payout ratios that are sustainable, not maxed out. Think long term. The magic of dividend growth only shows up with time. Instead of asking, what yield does this stock pay out today? Ask, what will my personal yield be in 10, 20 or 30 years? That's where real wealth is built. So to recap, high dividend stocks look attractive now, but often stagnate or get cut. Dividend growth stocks start small, but raise payouts every year. Your personal dividend yields grow higher the longer you hold them. You often beat high yield stocks in the long run. It's not about quick cash today, it's about building a lifetime of rising and reliable income. If this helped you, hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe for more dividend and investing breakdowns. And drop a comment. Do you prefer high yield stock or dividend growth stock? Let's debate in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.